I remember being at an Easter church service where the text for the sermon was Mark 16, and the preacher focused on how Mary Magdalene was the first person to see the resurrected Jesus. Now the preacher, who I won't name, did a good job outlining the text, but what raised the alarm was when he made the offhand remark, "Oh, we all know that Mary Magdalene had a bit of a reputation." And I'm sitting there thinking, what are you talking about? I had a chat with a friend after the service and they commented, "But wasn't Mary Magdalene a prostitute?" But where exactly in the Bible itself do we find that? Who was Mary Magdalene? Just what is it about her that garners so much attention? Was she a prostitute? A fellow disciple? Or even the wife of Jesus, as liberal theology claims? The legends surrounding this woman range from the innocuous to the blasphemous. The real tragedy, however, is that such myths distract us from the reality of God's grace in this woman's life. Mary Magdalene is one of the best known, yet least understood names in the Bible. God's word draws a curtain of silence over much of her life and personal background, but she still emerges as one of the prominent women of the New Testament. The Bible doesn't give very much information about her past, but it is mentioned that she was possessed by demons. She was called Mary Magdalene because of the village she came from, Magdala, a tiny fishing town near Capernaum where Jesus' home base for his Galilean ministry was. Thus we can easily see how she might have heard about Jesus and been able to come and hear him and be able to be healed by him. She is mentioned by name in all 4 gospel accounts, mostly in connection with the events of Jesus' crucifixion. And she has the eternal distinction of being the first person to whom Christ reveals himself after the resurrection. Some church traditions dating back to the early church fathers have identified Mary Magdalene with the anonymous woman in Luke chapter 7, who anointed Jesus' feet and wiped them with her hair. But the truth is that there is absolutely no reason to make that connection. Indeed, if we take the Gospel of Luke at face value, we have every reason to think otherwise, since Luke first introduced Mary Magdalene by name in a completely different context, Luke chapter 8. It seems highly unlikely that Mary Magdalene could be the same woman whom Luke describes, but did not name in the preceding chapter. Luke was too careful a historian to neglect a vital detail like that. Some early commentators speculated that Mary Magdalene was the woman described in John chapter 8 verses 1 and 12, caught in the very act of adultery and saved from stoning by Jesus, who forgave her and redeemed her. Again, there is no basis for that association either. So where does this idea of Mary Magdalene becoming the Christian mean girl come from? Let me be blunt in saying that it's an example of lazy Bible reading and conjecture. Let's remember that Jesus in his 3 years of ministry did interact with women, and several just so happen to have the name Mary. Mary, mother of Jesus, Mary, the wife of Clopas, Mary, sister of Martha, and of course, Mary Magdalene. Someone thought it would be a great idea. Oh, what if all these characters with the same name were actually the one individual? And thus a myth was born that grew into a cliche. So let's review what the Bible actually does say about Mary Magdalene. She was rescued by Christ from the hopeless bondage of 7 demons. She was chosen by the Lord to be the first person on the planet to see and hear her resurrected Lord. That was her extraordinary legacy.